This is the WSAR Newsroom, right here on 1480 WSAR.
And as we continue on this edition of the WSAR Newsroom with former Fall River Mayor, current practicing attorney Sam Sutter, and his take on the last 24 hours that have been the point of discussion in Fall River as we continue on this Friday edition of the WSAR Newsroom. Our conversation with Sam Sutter right now. And as we continue on this edition of the WSAR Newsroom with former Fall River Mayor, current practicing attorney Sam Sutter, I'm curious, what is it that you do right now? Are you in the defense attorney business?
Alan, I'm concentrating in two areas. I'm concentrating in personal injury and criminal defense. So those are the two areas, and they take me into court constantly, and I really enjoy it there. I'm like, that expression for the person who likes to just hang around basketball courts because they want to play all day long. I really do enjoy court, and so I'm enjoying this chapter.
And, of course, you've had previous chapters. You were the mayor of Fall River for 1 year, and obviously you were interested, like so many other people were yesterday, in what has gone down in the last 24 hours. What's your take on this?
Well, as I said to a few people, I was both surprised and not surprised. Not surprised because this has been something that's been in the air and discussed for close to 3 years, but surprised for that very reason, because it had taken so long. I started to think to myself, well, maybe they're not going to do anything, but of course they did.
Have you had a chance to read the indictment?
No, but I've been following the story, and I know that essentially what the charges are, and I think that he's going to have a tough road to hoe, because I know something about federal prosecutions. I've defended, and I also worked closely at times with the U.S. Attorney's Office when I was district attorney, and they do not bring cases lightly, as you know. They're extremely thorough. That's why it took so long, and their conviction rate in federal court is astoundingly high.
Is it 97%?
I think that if you told me it was 98, I would say that sounds about right. And also, Alan, their conviction rate at trial. So that's why I said he's going to have a tough road to hoe.
If you were Jazel Correia II's lawyer, what would you advise him to do?
Not talk about the case. That would be the immediate advice, and I think that's probably why he canceled the press conference. He has a great lawyer at his side. Kevin Reddington was considered the best criminal defense attorney in Massachusetts 20 years ago. So that was a smart and an almost predictable choice. And beyond that, I'll leave it up to Kevin, because he knows what he's doing.
You mentioned just the work that the federal prosecutors do. When you walk into that building, the Moakley Courthouse, it is not just a business as usual. It's not a free-for-all. It's a very serious place. And you realize as you come in there, you've got to get serious and pay attention to what's going on in there. And I know being in that courtroom yesterday, it's the first time I've been in a federal courtroom in many years, but they are very serious places, and serious business gets done there.
Well, I could tell you a couple of war stories. As I said, I've had numerous cases up there, and from the architecture, which is beautiful, to the setting overlooking the harbor, to all of the inspirational quotes that you see on the first floor, and I think throughout the building. Louis Brandeis, Felix Frankfurter, Daniel Webster. It's both a awe-inspiring place and a very grave place. And I often have said to people, as you think about the various courts, there's a marked difference between juvenile court, let's say, and district court with respect to the gravity. And then similarly between the district court and the superior court. If you want to feel it, just go into courtroom number 1 someday, and then go on up to the 5th floor and go into courtroom number 9. But perhaps the biggest difference that I've noticed in my career is between the gravity of the Superior Court and then the federal court. The punctuality is almost...